need some olive oil, just about a tablespoon or so of that olive oil. If you want to use coconut oil or butter, if you want to use vegetable oil, so be it. I ain't really trying to fight up. Medium heat. I've got some onion. If you haven't figured it out already, that's half of a medium onion diced. I'm making a sort of a stuffing for the fish, and what I'm going to use it for primarily is the Jamaican callaloo from my backyard, and we call in Trinidad and Tobago, we call that chorai bhaji. Rest of the Caribbean, they probably call it spinach. It's totally up to you, but if you wanted to use spinach, you can also use spinach. I'm just going to bring this up to temperature, and then we're going to start with the onion. I have some garlic here, so let's toss in some garlic. I'm going to leave back some for the rest of the dish. But anyways, that is what we got going for now. To that, I'm going to add some diced pumpkin because that will take a bit longer to cook. Going with some fresh ground black pepper. And I also want to go in with, I've chopped up 2 pimento peppers. I'm going to put half in here. And this is what a pimento pepper looks like. Again, straight out of my garden. Just going to put half of it in here. Beautiful flavor. The flavor of a Scotch bonnet pepper without the heat. We call it a pimento pepper or a seasoning pepper throughout the Caribbean. I'm just going to continue cooking that on that medium flame there, just to sort of sweat down the onion and garlic and the diced pumpkin. At this point, I also want to add the chopped up callaloo, or Jamaican callaloo is what you would find it in most stores being called. So this is why I'm using the word callaloo, but I grew up calling this chorai bhaji, as I said before. And it's been washed and chopped. No stems, just the leafy part of it. And the reason why I'm putting it now, because I wanted to help create some steam to cook the onion and garlic and pimento pepper, the pumpkin that's on the bottom there. So I'm just going to allow that to steam, sort of saute a bit. As that happens, I'm going to go in with some salt. Of course, you're going to have to stir that in just to make sure that everything cooks. And while the pumpkin may take a bit longer than everything else here to cook, remember it's going into the fish, so it will continue cooking on the grill outside. I'm going to be grilling this on the smoker, but no real smoke, but I will get some smoke actually. If you want to use it on your propane grill, your charcoal grill, even your oven inside, maybe you don't have a grill outside, you're going to start off at about 375 degrees, and near the end you can crank up the heat a bit more. We'll talk a bit more about that as we continue. I just want to make sure this sweats down. And at this point I also want to add some fresh thyme in here. So I'm just going to pick a couple stems of that fresh thyme, and I just want the leaves just to flavor this a bit. Then it's time for some chopped okra. Oops. And that's just 3 okra, depending on how you call it. In the Caribbean, I know it as okra. Of course, you need to stir that in as well. Turn my heat down to medium-low now, because you notice the Jamaican callaloo, and I will continue saying Jamaican callaloo while my Trinbagonian brothers and sisters may get angry at me. Again, it's easier for everybody around the world to understand, but that's how it's sold in the stores here in North America for sure. That's what I know. It's time to wilt, so I just want to make sure everything is getting kissed with the heat on the bottom there. I don't use those all-purpose seasoning and stuff like that, so you won't see any of that go in there. The garlic, the onion, the sweetness from the pumpkin, all those things will do brilliant things. As simple as you see this here, it's gonna be incredible. I'm just telling you, as it is. It's been about 7, almost 8 minutes since we started. I'm gonna turn off the stove and allow this to cool down a bit because I have to handle it in stuffing the fish. So let's prepare the fish now, and we'll go through the steps of the different ingredients that we'll be using. It may look like a lot of ingredients, but don't fret, Uncle Chris got you. And what I have is some grape tomato from the garden. I've got some more of these okra, and the bigger, thicker, fatter ones I cut in half. The other ones not so much, they're just trimmed. I've got some sliced pumpkin, and this is going to be a one pot one sheet kind of dish. Of course, salt, some more garlic. We'll need some black pepper. What I have here is my hot honey, and you don't need to have the hot honey, but if you head over to CaribbeanPot.com, you'll see that recipe there, and that is Scotch bonnet infused honey, just to give it that spicy kick. I'm going to avoid the Scotch bonnet peppers. I have here about half a cup of olive oil, the juice of a lemon, some thyme, parsley, some pre-cooked sweet potato. That is Caribbean Redskin sweet potato, just cooked for about 15-20 minutes. I left the skin on, that's fine. Give it a good wash before you're doing boiling salted water, and that's all pretty much. I've got some of that pimento pepper that I showed you earlier. So you can see with the sweet potato and the pumpkin, the okra, the tomato, everything else, it's gonna be a complete meal. Now with the fish itself, let's just move this over. And it's already been washed, and you're looking for something when you're buying it. Notice how nice and bright the eyes are, nice and clear. It's not clouded over. The inside is nice and pink on the inside. It's been cleaned, it's been scaled. And I wash it with the juice of a lemon and cool water. I gave it 1 cut, 2 cuts. The thicker parts of the belly on the other side, the same thing happened as well. So what I'm going to do now is create the sort of marinade to put this all together. For the marinade, we've got the olive oil. I'm going to go in with a tablespoon of my hot honey. Come on, with don't play the backside with me now. So in goes all of that lovely hot honey in there. Seal that baby back up into the cupboard. We need salt. That rough chopped garlic. Full recipe, printable, will be available at CaribbeanPot.com, so don't fret too much. We've got the pimento pepper, rough chopped as well. The thyme, I'm just gonna get some of that in there. Oh, gotta love the smell of thyme, boy. The lemon, let's sort that lemon out. Before we do, black pepper. Give it a good dose of that black pepper. Lemon, straight up in there. Lemon, fish just goes together, yeah? I ain't even have to explain why to you all. Other than the sort of tips I gave you there, when buying a fish, the clear eyes, make sure it's nice and pink, the gills are pink, the flesh is nice and firm. And I forgot to tell you guys that you want to press it, and if your finger remains in there, you know that fish has been out for a long time. Smell it. Don't be afraid to smell it as well. That's all part of the buying process. And you know, any fishmonger or whatever you call them who been in the game for a while, they will not have a problem with you smelling the fish. So don't be too scared to go ahead and do that. All we're gonna do now is give that a really good mix, yeah. And that there is our sort of drizzle dressing that is gonna slap everything just before we put it on the grill there. Yeah? And I've got a parchment lined metal tray because I'm putting this, well, whether you put it in the oven or on your barbecue or wherever, you will still need this tray. Now if you don't have parchment paper and you just want to use foil, perfect. If you don't have foil, hit a bit of cooking spray, or if you have a banana leaf, rock the banana leaf. I'm not hating. I've already added salt on the inside there. I'm not going to add any black pepper on the inside. I am going to, both sides, I'm going to hit that a bit of salt, especially down in the cuts area. Next up, we're going to grab some of that stuffing that we created, and that's going to go directly into the cavity of the fish here, and that's going to steam on the inside and release more flavors and do all kind of wonderful things. So I'm just going to continue doing that. Just make it nice and packed in there, because when you're eating later, and you know, this is one of the things you put on the dinner table there, 2-3 people, and all they're good, you know what I mean? So all the overflow, I'm just gonna let it come out now, like so, yeah? It's almost as if the fish is just too fat and full with all that niceness there. Then it's just a matter of placing the other ingredients. Just scatter it all over in there. And again, the fat ones I cut lengthwise. Totally optional. If you want to leave them whole, you can do that as well too. Just gonna arrange all of that all over here. The sweet potato will be tucked in, and the tomato, then we're gonna hit it with that drizzle. What I forgot to do is to put some of the marinade on the bottom, but as it cooks it will make its way on the bottom there, so I'm not really fretting too much, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that. A bit of salt. I'm going light because remember we put salt in the sort of dressing as well too. I'm gonna hit that with a bit of black pepper. Such a beautiful looking dish already. Just gonna hit that one final stir, and then we're gonna drizzle this bad boy over everything. Now if you want to reserve some of this for when the fish comes out of the, whether it's the oven or the grill as I'm doing it, you can do that as well and use it as a finisher as well too. But I'm just going to go ahead and make sure everything gets a little dose of this. If you want it, you can go in with your hands and mix it up as well too. Totally up to you, yeah? So we're outside now and the fish is all dressed up, all ready to go. What I forgot to mention is that don't stress too much if you don't have enough, if you find that you didn't have enough of the dressing for the vegetables. As it cooks in the grill, and I have the grill warming up over here, 375, you can see we're just about there. You can, like you notice in the corners down here, it's gonna be a lot of liquid on the bottom, so you can spoon it as it cooks onto the vegetables as well, to the sweet potato, pumpkin, and all of that. Yeah, it's been going now for about 20 minutes, and you can see the split is starting to open up, the eyes started to go a bit opaque or white, and the vegetables, well, you know, remember we pre-cooked the sweet potato, so we didn't really have to stress about that. Just the pumpkin. I'm just gonna give this a few more minutes, and yo man, well, more than a few more minutes. I want to make sure everything is fully cooked all the way through, but I just wanted to show you guys a peep of what's happening currently. It's going for 35 minutes now, and you notice the juices I was talking about? That is what you can do, so and grab your tablespoon or whatever, get some of that and just keep pouring it all over. The other thing, if you wanted to hit it with some spray of olive oil just on the top, just to keep it nice and moist as it goes in the grill here, totally cool as well too. Now if you're doing this in the oven indoor, this would be done by the 35-minute mark. I'm gonna go until 45 minutes. Sup soldiers, listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me, email address down here. I mean, trying to tell people the email address, them butts will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pot. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irie. 45 minutes later, and this is what we're left with. I notice the char marks. We're gonna get that smokiness from the grill as well too. The fish is fully cooked. Again, if you're doing this indoor, it will be cooked faster. The tomato has been charred. That's gonna pick up a nice sweetness there. The pumpkin has some nice color on it as well. Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. I do hope you guys get an opportunity to give this one a try. Yo man, a nice one sheet kind of thing. You know, we talk about one pot dishes, but this here is the real thing. The real thing. A little lemon juice and you're good to go. Irie.